Due to the nature of this episode, we'll be discussing topics that include violence and suicide. Viewer discretion is advised. Please consider this when deciding how and when you'll listen to this episode. With that being said, let's jump into our exciting episode. Hello, and welcome to The Third Act, an educational podcast for entertaining audiences like you.
Theater for the middle class.
I'm your husband, host Jared.
And I'm your wife, host Gracious.
We're glad you're here.
I particularly love that you used your arms to gesture like you were gesturing to an audience. That was very good.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I went to theater school before I went to anything else school. And so,
before you went to anything else
because
school,
I am trying to vocal perform, I therefore physical perform
you have to
so that everyone can
well.
hear it in my voice.
Fair enough.
And they'll never know why they feel entertained, but they'll know that they feel entertained.
Because even though they won't.
Pause. The night is young. The sirens are clear.
Oh my goodness. All right, we ready now?
Yeah, as the siren drives away. I don't know. I think it's fun, though.
It is fun.
I would rather have a good time recording a podcast for my friends, my family, and my posterity.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I just thought it was funny, and I thought I should comment. Since they can't see your full performance, I thought they deserve to know.
Hey, if we get enough likes and subscribes, we'll move to YouTube and we'll do video podcasts.
That's the dream. That's actually the dream.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Okay, bet.
Hey, dude, on a scale of melting to sparkling, how are you feeling?
I am feeling a little broken.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. I don't know what I did to my ankle today at work, but it hurts really bad. So I'm gonna get a brace for it so that I don't have to walk around on it tomorrow. And I'm also just like, I don't know, it's been one of those weeks, kind of a little downtrodden, but I don't know, there's a better word than broken, because I'm like not feeling the greatest, but I'm putting myself back together, you know? So I'm like cracked.
Sure.
Right? Because
yeah.
I'm not in a million pieces.
Yeah, just fractured.
Just a little fractured. That's a good word.
Ooh.
Good words, Jared. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but
yeah.
I am falling apart a little bit. Just my ankle and maybe my brain a little bit, but all is well.
Yeah.
What about you? Melting to sparkling.
I'm feeling wrinkled.
Wrinkled. That's a way better word than mine.
For two purposes. One, I was essentially held captive in another county yesterday for my job, for the thing that I do.
As you should.
Yeah, we were in like northern PA, held captive as I was helping one of my clients. Like an idiot, didn't ask, like, hey, what are we going to be doing while we're up here? And so I couldn't leave until all his business was done. So I was held captive in an area I did not want to be in. Simultaneously, I am rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. And like the last time I saw that, I was a young college student living in COVID. So there's a lot of specific memories flooding back that I didn't realize.
So you're feeling like an old man.
And a little nostalgic, but I can't say nostalgic, so I have to say wrinkled.
Wrinkled is a good word.
Yeah.
You're so much better at this game than I mean, I'm fine
Thank
at this
you.
game.
I've been preparing for the past 2 days.
I invented this game, but
you did.
You give the best answers to this game. So, good job.
Would you believe me if I told you that I like stared at a thesaurus for 5 hours before we started recording today?
I would believe that. actually. I would not put that past you.
I fooled you. I was acting.
No.
I did not, but I made you believe that I was the wizard. I really need to link the video of Sir Ian McKellan talking about him acting as the wizard Gandalf the Grey. It's one of the greatest acting videos I've ever seen. It's also a joke.
You're confused.
No,
It's perfectly simple. Case in point, Lord of the Rings. Little Peter Jackson comes from New Zealand, says to me, Sir Ian, I want you to be Gandalf the wizard. And I say to him, you are aware that I am not really a wizard. And he said, yes, I am aware of that. What I want you to do is to use your acting skills to portray the wizard for the duration of the film.
It's also a joke, people. We need to link it down below. We've been quoting it every other day. Yeah.
It's so good.
Last time, we got to move through because we have things to talk about. Last time we were here, I told them that you were going to do a performance up in New York.
Yes.
This is our return and report.
Oh my gosh. This is our return and report. So it was great.
Yes.
It went really well.
It was phenomenal.
My funny story about that I'll tell in like 2 seconds is that the camera shut off in the middle of the person right before me's set. And so it was my job to walk up during my announcement and whisper, whisper, whisper to the pianist who was also the producer that, guess what? The camera stopped working and we needed him to come fix it because it was his camera and none of us knew what we were doing. And so then he went and was taking care of the camera debacle. And I was just on the stage for like 7 straight minutes, just vamping. Nightmare. That is the stuff of my nightmares. I did it though. I was such a queen.
Pattern improv.
Pattern improv is not
something
my
that you have
favorite
often
thing.
talked about as not being your favorite.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm good at it. I'm not great at it, but I don't think I'm horrible at it, but I just hate doing it. It's so scary to me. So, I faced one of my fears, but my songs
Valiantly.
went very good. Valiantly.
Yeah.
My songs went really well, and I had so much support there, and I just felt extremely loved and extremely
As someone who was sitting
excited.
in the audience and as I punched my microphone, it was a fantabulous performance. She was Grace.
you.
She was Beauty.
Beauty
Your
and
vowels
Grace.
were perfect. Your consonants
Vowels.
were crisp. Your inflections were
My
spot on.
consonants are always crisp.
And you were the darling of the ball.
Aw,
So.
thanks, baby.
We also
Yeah.
got to know way more about you than we did anyone else
True.
performing because you
They-
talked for 7 minutes.
They heard my whole life story.
From beginning to where you are now. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Hey,
Yeah. Are you? Would you do it again?
I'm actually thinking about doing it again next year. This dude just does cabarets for a living. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I could just do one a year and just add it to my
Yeah.
I did it for the reel opportunity, like the videos that I can put in my reel.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any concert material, but now I do.
Yeah.
I need to update that in
Yeah.
the next few
So you're all
weeks.
done with concerts and performances, right?
Absolutely not. I have another concert next weekend. So wish me luck for that one. That one I'm playing the piano. I'm playing 12 songs? We're doing 12 songs.
12 songs.
And I'm playing the piano for all of them and
Indeed.
singing for a few of them. So I'm actually more scared for that one. But it'll be fine. So
You're allowed to be scared.
send me good vibes, please.
Yeah. Break a leg. My darling. My love. My sweetie pie.
Hello?
Want to talk about theater?
Please. What if I said no? I like I said that last time. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about theater. For anyone who is new, how did the idea of this podcast come about, Jared?
Oh, good job. I was supposed to ask you that question. We started this, the idea at least started back in college when we were preparing for all our upcoming auditions, right? And realized there are 30-second video clips available on YouTube. There are 2-hour essays that have been written about shows, and there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
And we felt like there weren't a lot of resources for actors who were preparing for shows that they don't already know. Because if you ask me about Newsies, well, I've already seen Newsies. I know that show. But if you ask me about All My Sons or A Streetcar Named Desire, I don't know anything about that. And so much has been written, it's really hard to sift through and find the little tidbits, the little golden nuggets that are helpful when you're preparing for an audition. So we decided to take it upon ourselves, people who have no experience when it comes to running a podcast or researching, to be research podcasters and make a podcast all about musical theater.
We went to college, so we know how to research.
I went to Jupiter and I got more stupider. So that's what I did in my free time.
Dude, you're not supposed to go there.
I know. Should have gone to Mars.
Boo.
Should have gone to space for 5 minutes.
Stop. No, we're not talking about that.
All right.
It's been 10 minutes. Let's move on. What are we doing? What are we talking about today, Jared?
Oh, we are talking about a show, a musical.
That's crazy.
You know it, folks. Oklahoma by Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein, which is one of my top favorite musicals of all time because it features rootin'-tootin' cowboys.
Love them.
According to our research, it is the first recorded integrated musical in that the script and music were written together, and we're going to talk more about that. The big question that we're going to be exploring today: why write a musical about cowboys and farmers in Oklahoma?
That is the big question.
There's a million things the human spirit can write about, and that is incredibly specific. So keep that in the back of your mind, folks, my love, as we go through today's episode. Okay. Can we talk some background first?
Please.
Excellent.
Tell me
my
all
posture
about
is terrible. So we're going to fix that.
Hey.
Let's talk background. The inspiration for Oklahoma originated in a stage play, Green Grow the Lilacs, by Lynn Riggs, who is himself an Oklahoma native. The play was produced in New York at the Guild Theater in January of 1931, and reportedly, it did very well.
Alrighty.
Gracious. Before they settled on the name Oklahoma, what was the former name of the musical? A, On the Prairie We Roam, B, Out on the Range, C, Away We Go, or D, Into the Sunset.
So we've recorded this one before. We did it again a year ago.
We did.
This is one of the this is the last one though. But long story short, I always get this wrong, and we've done this 3 times.
I know. It's my favorite question to ask.
I am going to say Away We Go.
Third time's the charm, folks.
Was I
She got
right?
it. Away
oh my
we go.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just because it's
so lucky.
fun, peppy, upbeat.
Away We Go does have the same feeling when you say it as Oklahoma with an exclamation point does, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they just found a title that encapsulates the show a little bit better.
Right. Away We Go is a little vague.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, not that Oklahoma is ridiculously specific, but
it's only one state.
the entire state. I mean,
entire
that's what
state
it's
of
about.
Oklahoma.
It's about the
That's
entire
what it's
state.
about. Script and lyrics were written by Oscar Hammerstein II, and musical score by Richard Rodgers. Prior to working with Hammerstein, Rodgers had spent years working with lyricist Lorenz, or Larry if you're his friend, Hart. Unfortunately, Hart was a prolific alcoholic and had become difficult to work with. Allegedly, Hart declared he suddenly didn't want to write anymore, embarked on a vacation to Mexico, and put Hammerstein in his place. And that's how they came to be best buddies.
Aw, the best buddies. But poor Hart. But
I
also
know.
maybe not, because he got to go on vacation to Mexico. So that sounds like a bop.
Allegedly.
Oh, wait. We don't actually know if that's true.
Allegedly.
Did he just die?
Allegedly. He embarked on a vacation to Mexico.
Did he get, like, kidnapped to Mexico?
Hey, man, don't think about it, okay? We're
Okay.
talking about Rodgers and Hammerstein.
I think I need to do a biography on Lorenz Hart next, because I'm a little worried about that dude.
Put on your FBI cap
But,
and find out what happened to our boy Larry.
It's not important. Let's continue. Go do your research on him. Check in. See if he's okay.
Apparently, there were a few arguments with the directors. Director Ruben Mamoulian, I remember you saying that one, insisted on hiring renowned stars for the roles, such as Shirley Temple and Groucho Marx, but was told to cast actors that would be more suitable for the roles, inferring actors who would be closer to the characters' demographics.
Close to because Shirley Temple wasn't a child. I don't know. But I'm all for casting people who actually should be in musicals instead of
I am too. It's a hard thing to get right because if you cast someone that's already known, they help sell the show.
Yeah.
And they do the advertising for you. And it brings in, what do we want? Money.
Yeah.
But, and for the record, there are some big name actors who are very good at what they do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they're big name actors.
But you also have to give people opportunities because that's how they become big name actors.
That's how they become the big names.
You have to give them a
So
shot.
right. So correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Along with that, choreographer Agnes DeMille, she insisted on hiring dancers for their abilities, not their looks. Apparently, a famed gossip columnist wrote about the show, "No girls, no legs, no chance."
What?
She would then go on to create the most famous dream ballet sequence of musical theater history. So, a round of applause for DeMille for doing it right the first
her
time.
for not casting girls based off of their legs.
Oh my gosh.
That's
and for
pretty
having
good.
dance be an actual critical part of the show.
Yeah.
And a method of storytelling.
True. Well, that's part of the integrated, which we haven't talked about yet. But
Yeah.
it's part of the integrated musical.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk about integrated musicals?
Oh, sure. No, it's just that the integrated. You want me to give the definition?
I do.
The integrated musical, and Oklahoma being the first of these that we talk about, is just that it blends the dance and the song and then the comedy and drama or the story into one plot. And in an integrated musical, the songs and dance are used to move the plot along instead of just being there for entertainment. So previous to Oklahoma, songs were just kind of thrown in there and dance was there for the spectacle,
Right.
not to carry along the story.
Right.
But Oklahoma has that dream ballet sequence, right? Which is literally carrying the story along. So
Yeah.
that's an integrated musical, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I feel like you have more facts to tell us about Oklahoma, though.
Oklahoma opened on Broadway on March 31st, 1943. For all you history buffs, be thinking about what that year entailed for everyone. However, the show was less than highly anticipated. It was predicted to be a flop since the soon-to-be dynamic duo were unfamiliar with each other, and the producers had trouble finding investors. People were skeptical about a show that focused on the interactions between cowhands and farmers. Opening night ticket sale numbers were so low, they had to paper the house by giving away free tickets just so they could fill the seats.
That's crazy. That's fascinating,
I know, right? The show then went on to become a smash hit that went on to set a Broadway record of over 2,200 performances before it finally closed 5 years later on May 29th, 1948. It held on to the record for Broadway's longest running show until My Fair Lady came along in 1956.
That's so cool. Before this, you might not have an answer for this, but were any musicals plays with music performed on Broadway, or was Oklahoma the first one?
That is such a good question. I'm here today to talk about Oklahoma, and I don't know.
Okay.
But you can open it up to our audience.
If anyone knows, comment.
Just so that we're using the correct words. Musical or play?
I was thinking about a play with music.
A play with music.
Or, well, they those probably did exist. But I I don't know. Could you call anything before Oklahoma a musical, quote unquote?
Yes.
Like Showboat?
Yes.
Or,
there were plenty of musicals
okay.
before Oklahoma.
Okay.
Just not integrated ones.
That's fair. Yeah. Or like the Gershwin stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for the interruption.
No, it's a great question. Keep it up. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here to ask questions.
Yeah. Speaking of plays, of the play, Green Grow the Lilacs, Hammerstein, it was quoted. Would you care to read
Oh, I would love to read
our
this
Hammerstein quote for us?
Mr. Riggs's play is the wellspring of almost all that is good in Oklahoma. I kept many of the lines of the original play without making any changes of them at all, for the simple reason that they could not be improved on. Lynn Riggs and Green Grow the Lilacs are the very soul of Oklahoma.
Indeed.
Did you like my Hammerstein voice?
It was very good.
Thank you.
It was very good. You should go and do voice acting or something.
What? Crazy.
Any comments, questions, concerns about that before we move on?
Those are some fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
Yeah. Yeah. I really want to talk about the show. Before we do, we need to talk about some of my friends. And so we're going to play the game, Guess That Character.
Oh, I love this game.
Before we do, let's take a break. No, just kidding. We don't have breaks.
Hi,
We're
you're
not
welcome.
that fancy yet. As I was doing my research for these characters, someone in an article described them as being bumpkin characters.
That checks.
Very fun word. Great description. And it checks out. All right.
Okay.
Gracious, come on down. Oh, that's so loud. Sorry, folks. Question number 1. Who is the confident and charming cowboy, the main romantic interest of a young lady, depicted with curly hair and a bow-legged stance?
I'm gonna say Curly.
Curly. You get bonus points if you can tell me the character's last name.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea what his last name is.
This is
I'm
so
gonna be
funny.
So honest.
We have had this conversation 3 times.
I know.
And you want to know what you said last time? Curly McQueen.
I did not say
You
Curly
totally
McQueen.
said Curly
no,
McQueen. It's Curly McLean, my friend.
Hey, to be fair, McQueen is pretty close to McLean.
It's really close.
It's pretty
Curly
close.
McLean, the baritone or confident and charming cowboy, known for his curly hair.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite things is whenever anyone's casted as Curly, and the next thing they do, they get the cast list, the next day they go and get a perm. Love it. Stay committed, folks.
Stay committed.
Some 16-year-old high school boy getting a perm at the salon. Love it.
Love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question number 2. Which character is the strong-willed and independent farm girl caught in a love triangle between 2 suitors?
Guess what? I know the last name. Lori Williams.
Bingo.
Want to declare to all the world that Lori Williams is my girl.
There you go.
I know that line.
Lori is... what voice part is she? She's a...
She's a soprano.
That checks.
What? Just because she's the romantic lead or
Yes,
something?
actually, because she's the romantic lead. Therefore, she would be a soprano.
Of course.
Yeah, and a darn tootin' good one at that. Question
love
number
her songs.
3. Which character is the brooding and enigmatic farmhand who harbors intense feelings for Lori, leading to tension and conflict?
Judd Fry.
Judd Fry. I wish I was in the room when they were naming the characters.
Yeah? What would you have named him?
Not Fry. Not a food. I don't know. Maybe they were hungry. Maybe they were on lunch break and they're naming people. Judd, what's his name? Hammerstein, can you pass me the fries? Fry! That's it! That's the one! I'm sure that's how that went down.
I think that's exactly how it went. They were like, hey, Hammerstein, what's your favorite food? Fries? Perfect. We'll put him in.
Yeah.
Who's our next character?
Who is the wise and nurturing aunt figure in the story, beloved by the community for her practical wisdom? Question mark?
Ann Eller. Or Aunt Eller.
Yeah.
I don't know her last name. Unless it's
Murphy.
Williams. Murphy?
Nope, Murphy. Aunt Eller Murphy, a high alto, if you will. Yeah, I think she's fantastic. I always forget how funny that character is.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah. Question 5. Name the flirtatious and vivacious young woman who often competes for attention and becomes entangled in romantic drama.
Ado Annie.
Hey, way to go.
I don't know her last name either.
Me neither. Couldn't tell you. I just know Ado Annie.
Carnes?
Something
That's what
like
I have
that.
written down. Carnes? I think.
I know that she's a mezzo-soprano, but what's the definition of a mezzo-soprano?
Soprano who doesn't sing as high or classically usually. Most roles nowadays are, a lot of the lead roles for females are mezzo-sopranos.
Oh, okay.
Also, a mezzo-soprano is the most common voice type.
Sure.
For women.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
It's like a soprano too.
Oh, got you. Oh, sure. That
and choir, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good to know.
Sometimes belts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. I'm ready for the next person.
No, you're good. Question 6. Who is the cowboy skilled enough to compete in rodeos, is primarily a dance role, is interested in Ado Annie, but isn't the brightest bulb?
So it's Will. His last name Parker.
Way to go.
I did. Okay.
Will Parker, and he's our resident tenor.
Resident tenor.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tenor and the mezzo-soprano. Soprano? Why did I say soprano? They always go together.
Always. Question 7. Who is the traveling peddler who says he's from Persia, now present-day Iran, though we aren't sure how much of what he says we can believe? He, like Judd, is an outsider to this community, but not feared by most. He likes pretty things and pretty women.
That is Ali Hakim.
Yeah.
Hakim?
Bonus points if you can do his little song he sings.
Ali Hakim. I don't remember exactly how it goes. It's something like that.
I didn't write this one down, so this is a spur of the moment question. Okay, actually, I have to say first, Oklahoma, the lead and supporting members are all built and supported by a very powerful, present, and poignant ensemble.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is one of the shows where I actually wouldn't mind being an ensemble member because they are constantly present throughout the show and play such an integral part.
There's a lot of dancing too. So if you're a dancer,
lot of dancing.
It's a really fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to all my ensemble crew as well.
Yeah.
Of all the characters listed, is there one that you resonate with more than all the others?
Well, as the resident soprano, probably Lori. I just love her songs. I think Many a New Day and oh my gosh, am I spoiling? And Out of My Dreams are so beautiful. So that's what I think. What about you? I would love to play Ann Eller when I'm old, but I'm also not an alto, so
yeah.
I don't know how that
I'm saying
go down.
personality-wise, like which character?
Oh, probably still Lori.
Lori.
I am a princess. What can I say?
Yeah. Will.
Well,
I wish I was as brazen as Curly is. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm a good guy.
I'm a good guy.
I'm a good guy. Want to talk about story?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Because that's what you guys came here for.
I've never heard this story
That's
before,
what you guys came here for.
But you guys get to hear the story now.
Right before we jump in, we're so close. We're so close. I want to say that the script is written in phonetic spelling.
I love when things are written
meaning that the accent is written into the lines, which is fun and can also be incredibly difficult. For Gracious's entertainment, I'm just kidding, it's for you guys, I've inserted a portion of the script where Aunt Eller talks with Curly. Gracious, could you read it out loud for us?
Do you want me to be Ann Eller and Curly?
Absolutely. And
Best
you have
day
to act.
of my okay.
You have to act.
If I wasn't an old woman and if you wasn't so young and smart alecky, why, I'd marry you and get you to sit around at night sing to me. No, you wouldn't neither, 'cause I wouldn't marry you or none of your kinfolks. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
I feel like a cowboy.
There you go. Proud of you.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of cowboys, who kicks off our show?
Is it Curly?
It's Curly.
The boy with the
and he
curly hair.
sings, Oh, what a
beautiful morning.
Cowboy Curly McLean looks forward to a beautiful day as he not only starts the show, but visits the farm girl, Lori Williams.
'Cause she's the only farm girl in there.
We had the opportunity to go with some friends and go see Oklahoma recently. My question is, what makes this song so memorable?
I mean, it's the first song in the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
But like after that.
I just think it's gorgeous. And it just sets the scene. Like he explains how the sky is beautiful and the fields are gorgeous and the cattle are there and everything sounds like music.
A lot of
can,
optimism.
You can picture it and you can picture the scene in your head. It really sets the scene well.
Right. I remember when we were discussing the importance of the beginning of the show, because not only is it introducing who we are, where we are, who our characters are, it also establishes what the norms are.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because every good story has change. And so we need to establish what's normal so that when something changes, we know and we expect it. And so I think it does a beautiful job, like you said, at depicting this beautiful Oklahoma morning, right? The day is young, possibilities are endless, anything could happen. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's probably my favorite song in the show, I think.
Something to think about though. Actual the plains of Oklahoma in that time probably would not have been quite as beautiful as they're depicted in the show, and might have been just downright barren. So there might be a little bit of painting of the scene going on, depicting an image that maybe people have in their memory, something that they feel, not something that's been witnessed.
Maybe it's more optimistic than the reality. So maybe it's painting Curly as an optimist.
Maybe. Food for thought. Something to consider. It took Hammerstein 3 weeks to write the lyrics. He then took it to his good friend Rogers, who was home in Connecticut, and allegedly it took Rogers only 10 minutes to write the music.
That would make me so angry if I was Hammerstein.
However, Julie Stein, another great American songwriter, wrote, "No one ever wrote a piece of music to already written words better than Rogers. He always made it sound as though the music was composed first." And the reason that this is important is because Rogers took one look at it and the lyrics were so beautiful, he could hear the melody in the words that had been written.
Okay, so Hammerstein did the work.
Actually,
and Rogers
did
was just
such a good job at setting him up for success. Rogers hit it out of,
he piggybacked.
No, I'm trying to use the baseball emoji. I'm trying to
hit
be
it out of the
sports.
park.
Hit it out of the park. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what an accomplishment.
What a good duo.
I know.
Glad they got together.
Me too.
Glad Hart went and died in Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. Hart, I love you. Come back.
As I'm sure you can imagine, it would become one of the most famous songs that Rogers would ever write in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the song ends, and everybody claps and applauses, and the show continues. Curly teases Lori about going to the town's box social dance, whilst Aunt Eller looks on. Lunch baskets will be prepared by the ladies and auctioned and bought by the gentlemen for a lunch date, all to raise funds for the new schoolhouse.
It's a good reason to have a box social.
It's a great reason. Gracious, if you were going to entice me to go with you to a box social dance, what would you offer me in return for going with you?
2 hay buddies.
pat on the back and 2 hey buddies.
Except that hey buddies are just a pat on the back.
That's funny.
What would you offer me, huh?
I mean, if I'm in a musical, probably a car.
Oh, so maybe like a Surrey with the fringe on top.
I mean, I was thinking a Corvette, but
I was trying to.
oh, within the realm of the show. Within the realm of the show. Yeah, I'd probably have a Surrey with the fringe on the tops. Dude, what's a Surrey?
Isn't it? Oh wait, no one's ever asked me this. Isn't it just like a carriage thing?
Yeah, it's a carriage and buggy.
It's a covered buggy or whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
You got it. Yeah, with fringes on the top, right?
Of course.
This is just a really fun song. So it's written in 4/4, in a style that like mimics a horse trot. Yeah. Curly's making up stuff. Laurie's refusing to go along with him on the dream
until the very end.
Until the very end, right? Yeah. Any thoughts on the song, or should we keep going?
It's just cute.
It's really cute.
Just go listen to it. We should probably keep going.
Probably should. All right. Shortly thereafter, the lonely and disturbed farmhand Judd Fry enters, and we quickly learn that he has become obsessed with Laurie and asks her to the dance. She accepts to spite Curly, although secretly she is afraid of Judd. Meanwhile, Cowboy Will Parker returns from a trip to modern Kansas City and shows off his souvenirs in his song, Kansas City.
Can I tell you my favorite line in this?
Yeah, please do.
It's something about like a building that's 7 stories high, about as high as a building ought to grow.
Yeah.
Or go.
Yeah. Yep, you got it.
I love that line. I think it's very silly because we know that there's so many more. But can you imagine the tallest building you've ever seen being 7 stories high?
You can walk to privies in the rain and never wet your feet.
Oh, I love that one too.
The song is really fun. It's a song that showcases the spirit of the city of Kansas, right? It tells the story of a man who is in love with a woman from Kansas City. He has desires to go there to embrace its culture and experience the life of the city, which he's heard so much about. Nah, never mind. I don't like that. Cut that. Don't need it. Yeah. After a rousing dance and spectacle with all his cowboy buddies, Will presents his $50 that he won at the fair, the exact amount of money he needs to marry Ado Annie and pay her father. We also learn that Ado Annie is being courted by 2 suitors, Will Parker and Ali Hakim, a traveling salesman.
Okay, she's pulling him. Something
Indeed.
like that.
Indeed. And so, as we're introduced to this love triangle, Ado Annie sings her song, I Can't Say No.
I can't say no.
It's a song that juxtaposes this little girl sweetness along with her very frank sensuality, right?
She's not quite about it.
And seduces the listener into coming around and considering Annie's way of thinking. There is a lady who has performed this song before, and I cannot remember her name. What's it called? Who is she?
Are you talking about the most recent Broadway?
Correct.
Ali Stroker.
You should talk about her for a second.
I just think she's super cool because she was in the most recent revival of this, which was in 2019.
Yeah.
Which was very different. It was a very modernized take on Oklahoma. It's very different than the original. Still super cool.
Yeah.
But the actress who played Ado Annie, Ali Stroker, she uses a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the first differently abled person to, well, maybe not the first differently abled. Sorry.
You're good. Do what you need to do.
Okay. And she was the first person in a... Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm ready.
Good gravy.
And she was the first person oh my goodness gracious.
I really like you, wheelchair user.
She was the
Okay.
Thank you.
Take a beat.
Okay.
Break.
And she was the first wheelchair user to ever win a Tony Award. She won a Tony Award for her performance.
Yeah.
Because
of her abilities as an actor.
Yes, not because she was in a wheelchair, of course. Yes, because of her abilities. But actually, I love watching her performance from the Tony Awards that year because it's just very fun.
Yeah.
And she just does. You can have some different fun with movement in a wheelchair than you can when you're just walking around, and she does a really good job at that.
Yeah,
she's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go watch her performance and cheer her on.
Absolutely. So Ado Annie talks about her greatest weakness is that she can't say no, right? If we were to write a musical about Jared and Gracious, what would you say would be like your musical confession?
My musical confession.
Yeah.
I can't stop sleeping, probably.
Mm.
I don't know. Or I
Call
just
it sleepy
like
bones.
chocolate.
Oh.
I can't stop eating chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's yours?
Mine? Oh, so I had the privilege of thinking about this. My song would be titled Ain't on Time. I am
Your song
notoriously
would be titled Ain't
running
on Time.
behind. To be fair, it's because I do a lot of fun things during the day, and I squeeze them all in because I am an adrenaline junkie and I live for life. But yeah, Ain't on Time would be my song.
Okay, well, mine would be Just Too Tired.
Just Too Tired.
That work?
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah, I think so. It's a bop. I'd listen.
Bop. Can't say no. What happens next?
Lori and her friends prepare for the social, while Gertie Cummings flirts with Curly.
How dare she?
I know. Lori notices and tells her friends that she doesn't really care about Curly and she doesn't need no man. In her song, Many a New Day. A fun song. It's a contradiction. As Lori sings about moving on from a guy and not needing them, as she and all her friends get ready to go to an event and make themselves, prepped and preemed to go flirt with other men.
To be fair, that was just the society of the time. That was the point of the box social. It doesn't mean that they necessarily wanted to.
I know. It's just fun, right? Like, contradiction is always fun.
We love a good contradiction. Yeah. I mean, Lori's contradicting herself this whole time because she's obviously in love with Curly.
Oh my gosh,
and you can
absolutely.
tell.
The whole time.
That's the point.
Is just trying to spite him.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's also very pretty. Because we're hearing Lori, and this is one of the many times where that character is allowed to excel on stage, and we see it. Yeah, the Lori that we went and saw was phenomenal. But yeah, any thoughts before we keep going?
I just want to hear what happens next.
Ooh, lucky for you. Ali Hakim accidentally meets Annie's father and is forced at gunpoint to marry his daughter. Hakim and the other men, who pretty much just enter unsolicited so that they can help with the song.
They hear him complaining and they're like, I have something to say too.
They all lament together in the unfairness of the situation with the song. It's a scandal. It's an outrage.
That song is just so funny.
I
love
know. Sometimes we're reminded that this is a show set in the Wild Wild West where the rules aren't black and white yet.
Yeah.
And so people are a little frustrated when they have to abide and be good, hardworking, earnest American citizens. But yeah, it's just hilarious. Yeah. Curly discovers that Lori is going to the box social with Judd and tries to convince her to go with him instead. Afraid to tell Judd she won't go with him, Lori protests that she does not love Curly.
Maybe a little that she's afraid to tell Judd, but also a little that that she's still trying to spite him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Absolutely. And they sing the song, People Will Say We're in Love.
I love this song. We sang this song at our wedding reception.
We did. Yeah.
It was cutie.
Yeah.
So, Jared,
Mhm.
in the song People Will Say We're in Love, from what I understood, because I know this song, Curly and Lori are giving each other this list of things not to do because they're trying to hide how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order to do that, you just kind of, why do you think that they're so afraid of admitting that they're in love? Because what's at stake for them if they're actually honest with their feelings?
Good question. If I put on my psychology hat, we could go in a little bit and talk about the power dynamics that existed at the time between men and women in that era, right? Both, oh my gosh. Okay. That existed in that era. Both sexes had their own designated duties and responsibilities. And those expectations change as soon as society knows that they're courting and doomed to be wed.
Or as soon as they get married, right?
Absolutely. Even just being associated with one another automatically changes their social standing and people's expectations of them.
Yeah.
So there's probably a little bit of that. I would also probably say along with that, like some fear of vulnerability, right? It's a small, tight-knit community. Everyone knows everyone's business. So what happens when two people make a commitment in a town where everyone's watching, right?
Yeah.
Insert Footloose.
It also feels a bit like a Pride and Prejudice type thing. Like they're both just a little too prideful and they don't want to admit because that would admit like what weakness or vulnerability.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That crazy thing where some people hold the belief that saying I love you is like this, like, you broke, you gave in first.
Right.
Which is crazy. To each their own. Personally, in the Matson household, we choose to say we love you, I love you as often as we can.
Right.
Because life is short and fleeting, folks. Take opportunity of the time that you got. Speaking of, this is my time when I insert, my dear, darling, gracious, yes. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, thanks.
Aw.
Terry loves love.
Terry loves love. Hey, what comes next, though? Can you tell me? That was a very good explanation of People Will Say We're in Love, though, by the way.
Thank you. It is at this point in the show that Oklahoma starts to take a turn. Hurt by her refusal, Curly goes to the smokehouse where Judd lives to talk with him. It is at this point that the show goes from its jovial and bright disposition to a more dark and sinister feeling in just 2 numbers. Curly, in his conversation with Judd, jokingly suggests that since Judd does not feel appreciated, he could hang himself, and everyone would realize how much they care about him.
Yeah, this song makes me feel really, really icky.
Poor
I think
Judd
it's
is dead.
supposed to make you feel really icky, but it shows a very different side to Curly. This person who was set up as this hero.
Right. Yeah, the person who could do no wrong.
Right. All of a sudden, you're like, I don't agree with him anymore. And I think he kind of is. Yeah. He has this dark side to him. He's kind of a messed up person.
It's a reminder in this story, people are living in the wild, wild west. This is the wild frontier.
Yeah.
Law is not all abiding.
That's true.
Goodness and righteousness don't always pave the way, right? And I think, we get...
it is more of a strength game on almost, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
and I think you said it well. We're seeing other sides of Curly that we didn't know existed before.
Rodgers and Hammerstein do like to do this, though.
Yeah.
They always have this dark spin.
Fair enough.
On everything.
Fair enough.
But it feels like it comes a little early in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crazy part is, as they're singing the song, Curly's convincing to the point that Judd joins in the song
It's so
and
sad.
starts agreeing with him.
It's so sad.
To the point they even harmonize at the end. And in musical theater, harmony is often used to denote a sense of connection and agreeance with someone.
I think the other thing with this song that's so interesting is it's often played, certain bits of the song are played for a laugh.
Yeah.
And people will laugh.
Yeah.
But how like icky is that there's this song that's so dark and talking about someone killing themselves, which is so horrible.
Yeah.
And it's played for laughs.
Correct me if I'm wrong. In the modern production of it, isn't it? It's like performed as silhouettes, right? They're like behind a screen.
So I haven't seen it. I just talked to someone who saw it.
Sure.
It's something like that, or it's like them filming each other. It's up in their
or
faces.
being filmed. Right.
But
anyways,
it's kind of as this like eerie.
A little bit eerie. It also separates because you're not seeing the characters. Right.
You're
like
seeing
you're not seeing on
reflections
stage, you're
of them
seeing
or
reflections of
something,
them. So you're only allowed to see silhouettes and you're only allowed to hear the words being said.
Right.
And so it distances you, thus allowing the audience to think more about what's being said and focus less on what they're seeing.
Yeah.
Fascinating artistic choice.
It is.
Yeah. Their talk then turns to an ominous confrontation about Lori. After Curly leaves, Judd's resolve to win Lori becomes even stronger, and he vows to make her his bride. Eek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's not that you necessarily agree with Judd.
Yeah.
Or Curly at this point. Like
Yeah.
at this point, both of them kind of suck.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
great. They're not great humans.
Yeah. If you were Curly or Lori, how would you have handled the situation in Tenson with Judd?
Not like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would probably, knowing me and how I like to avoid situations, if I were Lori, I would just go with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just suck it up
And then deal with it afterward.
and deal with the aftermath.
If I felt funny about it. Honestly, I wouldn't have asked him in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Like she only did it to spite Curly, which is
Yeah.
silly.
Knowing myself, I'm a planner. So I would have asked Lori out 4 weeks in advance.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't do it the day
I
of.
would not do it the day
I
of.
know.
Yeah. But that's just me personally speaking about myself.
Yeah. I don't know. He definitely could have handled this in a much better way.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
As Judd's left to his own thoughts in his song Lonely Room, this is it's an interesting mix of sympathetic and scary, yearning yet ominous, depending on how you play it, of course. It's either the moment we get to know Judd as a guy who just wants a better life for himself and the girl of his dreams, or it's the obsessional rantings of a loner who will go too far, probably with deadly
I
consequences.
feel like you have to have a bit of both in it to make it a truly dynamic performance.
Yeah.
Because we do see, I don't want to spoil it actually, but you do see later, right, that Judd's obsession becomes a bit of his downfall. So you kind of want to foreshadow that, but
Sure.
also you want to show him as this broken
Yeah.
person because he's obviously been bullied and ostracized
Oh
by
my
the
gosh.
community.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
and there are reasons why people make the decisions they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really important character and one that in more recent productions that I've seen, they paint him less as a villain and more as a victim of the society that he's fallen into,
Yeah.
right? Because there are often several people where we'll read about him on the news and we're like, wow, that's terrible. What a garbage individual. And then you stop and you go, wait, what drove them to think that action A was the best choice they could have made in that
Right.
situation, right? What
Right.
happened? At some point, every person who enters this world is someone's little baby, completely unable to care for themselves, someone's, little darling from heaven. and then what happens in the span of 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm not a therapist yet. I can't tell you.
but once you
one day
become a
I'll unlock
therapist, you'll
these
come
great
back.
mysteries. So,
Yeah.
as musicals
Good thoughts.
often do, we transition into another feeling. Famously, Act 1 of Oklahoma ends with an epic dream ballet in which Lori, who has taken a magic potion from Ali Hakim, explores her feelings for both Curly and Judd, and finally comes to understand what she wants.
It's a very good ballet.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Very interesting, too. There's some weird things that happen in there.
Yeah, because it's a dream.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a dream.
I think we should bring it back.
Having
we
the
need more
ballets.
movies with 10 minutes of just seemingly abstract performance,
Right.
but it's just an opportunity to showcase the talent that you have within your cast.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think we should bring it back.
I mean, this one in particular tells part of the story.
It does. Yeah, it does. So, we're going to take like a really quick break, and we're going to let our cast set up and transition for the box social that's going to be coming up soon. After the audience has had a chance to use the bathroom, grab their popcorn, fill up their drinks again, Act 2 kicks off with the simmering tension between the farmers and the cowmen, which is also the name of the song.
The farmer and the cowman.
As everyone's dressed up in their finest buckles and belts and suits for the box social.
I love thinking that they have two pieces of clothing. One is their best that they wear to these events, and then the other one is just their everyday wear.
Their everyday wear.
I mean, back in the day, they really didn't have
it's pretty darn
that many
close.
options.
Yeah. We're not going to go a lot into politics because that's not what we're about here. But I do think the cowman and the farmer, I think there's a big life lesson to draw from there. So, history lesson. The cowboys, ranchers, right? They make their business by driving herds of cattle all over the open territory that was once the Oklahoma territory, right? So they're allowed to travel northwest, east, south. It's big open land. They go wherever they need to go. And then as civilization starts to approach, farmers start bringing agriculture in, and they start putting up fences, drawing lines and borders, putting things in boxes, right? And so automatically there's conflict there.
Yeah.
Which, when considered in a modern political climate, is still incredibly accurate and poignant even in our day.
You maybe just have to not think of them as farmers and cowmen, but as two other people who have differing opinions, and who one is maybe trying to encroach on another's freedom,
Correct.
so-called freedom.
So in that way, Oklahoma is still very current and very present.
I love that.
And historically, when this show came out, right, we were in the midst of another world war.
Oh, yeah.
And so again, this conflict that the producers and investors were so hesitant about actually went on to resonate with many of the show's audience members. So, food for thought, something to think about when you're watching it or performing in it. And what are you going to add to the show? Ultimately, it ends in a violent outbreak, but yeah, it's the Wild Wild West, right? Like, that's going to be expected. It's gonna happen. So, later that night, Will and Annie work out their differences as she reluctantly agrees not to flirt with other men in their song, All or Nothing.
It takes a while to get to that point, but
It does. It does.
Takes some kissing other people.
I mean, she has to try to convince him to quit his gambling and
That's fair.
roping and whatnot. So it's
Compromise.
It's almost like people
marriage.
are complicated and you have to compromise and work together.
Almost like marriage is a compromise.
That's like so silly, crazy.
That's so crazy. I've never thought of that before.
Whoever said marriage was easy. What a lie.
No one.
Yeah. We are now going to skip ahead because the rest of the show is the meat and the potatoes, right? It's the whole reason that people go to see the show. And you need to go see it for yourself.
Oh, you're not going to spoil it for them?
But I do want to talk about the ending of the show and their closing iconic song of Oklahoma, right? Originally was a two-step until ultimately it was decided to pump up the song a little bit and really make it a big number to close out the show.
A two-step.
Like I said, we had the opportunity to go see the show recently. Any thoughts, any comments, any golden nuggets of truth that you have on your mind?
I actually get chills during the song somehow, which is crazy because it's just talking about living in Oklahoma and loving the land that you live on. But I don't. And it might be something to do with the music or the lyrics and how beautiful. But I don't know, that theme of community and of unity and these people coming together to compromise it's a big theme. And at the end, in this song, they're all happy and it's the happy ending and everything's great and dandy and people are coming together for a greater purpose, right? To bring two people together. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's extremely fun. I think it has the sound of American spirit. Without just outright saying this is an American spirit song. Yeah.
100%. I agree with that statement.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And the show ends. The curtains close. Everyone sends off their roses, their flowers, their hugs, and their kisses. Maybe a couple of boos, but
you maybe feel a little icky. You maybe feel a little happy.
Maybe. Probably a little sleepy. Everyone goes home and calls it a day.
Probably a little sleep. It's a long show.
It's
like 3 hours. I mean, that's a golden age musical for you. That's a golden age musical for you,
but yeah. And that's the show.
Yay!
But we're not done yet.
Oh.
Because, like we said, Oklahoma went on to be a historical performance.
I mean, true.
And continues to make memories and headliners even today. The Oklahoma Historical Society. Yeah, that's a thing. They released a statement.
I'm sure every state has a historical society.
I don't know. I just don't spend a lot of time in Oklahoma. So
you're like, wow, Oklahoma has that?
Would you be willing to
quote this for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. They said, in April 1953, Oklahoma State Representative George Nye of McAllister introduced a bill to replace Oklahoma's official song, Oklahoma, a Toast, with the title song of the musical. A few legislators and residents objected because it was hard to sing, difficult for students to learn, it had slangy language, and they wanted a song written by an Oklahoman.
Yeah. So, the State Federation of Women's Club campaigned for the traditional Camden tune. Conversely, legislator Boyd Cowden, I gotta check these names. He favored Oklahoma because he believed that the song and the Broadway show had done much to erase the negative image created by Steinbeck's 1939 novel, The Grapes of Wrath. Right? The measure passed, the governor signed it, and it became effective on September 5th, 1953.
Is it still Oklahoma's official song?
Last I checked.
Good for that. It wasn't even written by an Oklahoman. That's super cool, though.
That's besides the point. Any guesses on how long it took Oklahoma, the musical, to finally be performed in the state of Oklahoma?
Like 5 years or something.
5 years? Really good guess.
Because it ran for 5 years on Broadway, right?
3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
Oh, so it was there before it was even off Broadway. You said 5 years on Broadway, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Good
for them.
Yeah. I mean,
of course it needs to be performed in Oklahoma in November.
Right. Yeah. In November of 1946, the company came to Oklahoma for the first time, giving 8 performances in Oklahoma City at the Municipal Auditorium. A lavish premiere hosted by Governor Robert Kerr entertained the Theater Guild producers, as well as Rodgers and Hammerstein themselves, of course, because
they were live.
Yeah.
So they gotta enjoy that.
Yeah. You could probably guess where this one's going. By 1950, for all those playing at home, Oklahoma had been performed in how many states?
1950s. That was like set 8 years after it opened. Probably only like I'll say 15 out of the 50.
All 50.
All
50 states.
by 1950.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Everyone really liked it.
Yeah. Even crazier. In 1967, an all-female cast opened the show in what country? A, China, B, the Philippines, C, Japan, or D, India.
67? That's so early to do an all-female cast. I feel like the Philippines is really forward. Or Japan. One of the two.
Ooh, I like the way that you think. It is, in fact, Japan.
It is Japan.
Yeah, an all-female cast in Japan.
That's super cool.
So again...
I want to be in an all-female cast of Oklahoma.
Right?
Yeah.
Make it happen. Make your dreams, not
I'll
just
play
be dreams.
Ollie Hockey. Oh, no, I could not.
You could.
I'm way too white.
Oh, fair enough. Fair point. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not the role for me.
Oh, the musical Oklahoma has been awarded which award? A, a Tony, B, a Pulitzer Prize, C, an Academy Award, or D, a Grammy Hall of Fame?
Could I say A and B? I know it's won a Tony and a Pulitzer Prize.
You want to know what's crazy? It's A, B, C,
Did it
and
win all of
D.
them? Of course.
It is all of them and more. So, to be fair, it's had multiple revivals, so that also helps.
Yeah, that is true. If you revive it enough
If you bring
times,
back
it'll get
enough times, it's
it'll
going to
get
win in some
awards.
aspect.
It has been around for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Gracious, we have talked at length, and we got to wrap this puppy up. Having discussed all the details of the show Oklahoma, again, we're back to our big question. Why write a musical about cowboys and farmers in Oklahoma?
I feel like you're going to lean toward what you were starting to say in the farmer and the cowman when we were talking about that song and about how it's two people that have conflict that have to come together to a compromise. And two people who are from very different worlds who are having to work with each other. I think that is a very important principle to everyone. I think everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to talk about?
It's pretty darn close. Yeah. Musicals, like all popular texts and forms of art, have an explicitly reflexive relationship with the societies from which they stem. The show opened in March 1943 in the middle of World War II. The story, a tale of frontier life and the formation of a new American state, resonated deeply with audiences. It celebrated American identity and resilience and the idea of coming together as a community.
I think it's wild that there were shows opening during World War II.
Same.
There's an active World War going on, and people are still writing musicals.
It's probably why people weren't buying tickets. They're like, we're trying to survive a war.
I mean, yeah.
Entertainment is not my
not
priority.
their first. I mean, and then also, it's not like people have money at that point
Right.
to go see shows.
But again, if people have made a career writing shows, you got to keep working your job, right?
I know, yeah.
So, anyways, I mean, but that's like the life of an artist, though.
True.
I found a quote that I really loved, and I think you could do it justice better than I could. Would you be willing to read it for us? Of course.
The show hit a nostalgic chord with audiences just out of the Depression and into World War II. The show was a favorite date for servicemen on leave. In 1943, when the show opened, Oklahoma, the state, was only 36 years old. It reminded many of their pioneer past of immigrants struggling to put down roots in a new world. America suddenly found itself at war with 3 fascist powers, and its people longed to believe in a brighter future. Oklahoma was about home, family, love, and the triumph of good over evil, which was precisely what Americans were fighting for. Yeah, it had their home values. Well, that makes me sad.
Yeah, absolutely. So for that reason, Oklahoma very quickly worked its way into the halls of fame and into the hearts of Americans all around the world. And is still a very popular show today. One that you can probably see at any local community theater, high school, or regional theater near you.
Many people do it. That's for sure.
It's on my bucket list. It's one of the shows I want to do.
I know. I'm so angry. Our college did it just 2 years after you graduated. How dare they? Grr.
Why I oughta.
Well, thanks for saying that was a great telling of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Thanks.
Great
I had a
job.
good time. I really enjoyed getting to research it. Like I said, all our
it's one of your
resources, we'll link them down below. They'll be there for you. You're welcome to ask any questions, share any stories.
Do you have any
we're people.
Oklahoma
We're family
stories?
here. Tell us your stories. Tell us your thoughts. At this point in the show, it's time to discuss a more important topic. Gracious and I, we try to run and operate this like it's a business. We've had several business meetings, and we've officially come to the conclusion that we're going to be doing this podcast for a couple of years at least, folks. We're not going anywhere. Hopefully, our hope and dream is that you'll stick around and join us for the show, if you will.
And maybe share with some other people.
At this point, that's the most helpful thing that you can do. Please tell us, your thoughts and share your love and share it with people. Help our message. Help us get out. We want to connect with more like-minded people who share a passion for the arts that we have. And we're only two people. We can only do so much, but there are so many of you. And so I know it's a small, simple thing, to click that like button, to subscribe, to share it with a friend or relative of yours. But it really does go a long way for us. So
we appreciate it already. We've already gotten a lot of love.
Yeah. If you enjoy what we're doing, give us a follow.
If you think what we have to say could be enjoyable for someone else, just like I said, give us a share. A little does go a long way. If
you have something to share or say, we want to hear and we want to chat with you. Please email us at thethirdAct64@gmail.com.
Or DM us.
That too. Gracious checks quite frequently.
I do.
Yeah. We hope that you'll join us next week. And in the meantime, we know that some of you have your auditions, your rehearsals, your performances. So go, don't get wrinkly. Don't do that. And
break
leg.
I didn't know you were gonna. Did not know it was going next.